Good day, viewers, and welcome to another OnSide SA soccer show. Paulie is on his way to the UK for his regular Christmas and New Year break. So joining me in the studio is our regular super sub and Manning Rangers League winner, Gavin Radford. Gav?
Morning, Butch. Good to be back again. A lot of soccer coming up over the festive period, so yeah, I've got my couch ready.
Okay, well, you're in a good form yesterday, tipping a few winners at Greyville, so let's hope it continues today. As always, our regular UK correspondent, Stevie Brown, will be joining us shortly. But we kick off, as always, with our last one standing competition, and our first competition is still going. We had 3 entries going into week 17. 2 were successful. Sean Matthew was on Bournemouth and Ashley Rushton on Everton. Unfortunately, Kevin Rice was on Burnley, but going round 17, that would have won any competition. So I know he was disappointed, but Kevin, congratulations, an outstanding achievement. The guys who are going through, Sean and Ashley, these are the sides that they can can use. Sean can use Aston Villa, Luton and Sheffield United, while Ashley can use Bournemouth, Notts Forest and Luton Town. Our second competition going into week 5, we had 102 entries going through. 93 were successful. 33 on Tottenham, 31 on Chelsea, 18 on Bournemouth, 4 on Arsenal, 2 each on Aston Villa, Everton and Newcastle, and 1 on West Ham. The unfortunate 9 guys that went out were 5 on Man City, 3 on Liverpool, and 1 brave warrior on Man United. We had 7 ladies left, one is which is in the UK, and they are Tanila Montana Verners, Georgia Harito, Tracy Nell, Jenny McNeil, Carol Whitehead, and Catherine Armstrong, who is in the UK. We have 1 postnet person carrying the fort for the postnet crew, and that is Travis Dorigo. 4 former champions are going strong. Sean Matthew, Guillaume Nell, Gary Citron without the E, and Andrew Rydell in Texas, the USA. Of our internationals, Francois Demy in Mauritius, Brendan Smith, Ken Moby, Stevie Braham, Nigel Swinbank, Kevin Foster, Kevin Power, and Steve Potter. The other guys who are still in, and because it's a Christmas period, you're all going to get a mention, starting with Lawrence and Jared Verners, Tony Bruce, Jeff Ward, Jeremy Fleming, Stuart Cameron, Mark Fulyun, Arvin Nadu, Greg Petzer, Chris Harito, Robert Miller, Robbie Burns, Phil Weston, Paul DeVerge, Julian Nadu, Basil Muir, Keith Airy, Paulo DeCamo, Rion Diaga, James Taylor, Eric Redman, Paul Lafferty, Des Foree, Warren Kidd, Mark Marinkovitz, Richard Markle, Dave Goss, Roger Laveau, Connor McNeil, Eddie Lloyd, Keith Story, Sheldon McCabe, Graham Anderson, Sean Woodcock, Regan Mayo, Scar Shabalala, Eldon Errol Nathan, Mark Tuttle, Andre van Bussen, Murray Dand, Roy Rudham, and my former midfield partner, Ray Lovett. Guys, you will be notified today. There is a Thursday night game, so if you do want to pick from the Palace Brighton game, I need your pick by 8 o'clock. A lot of you are going to be on Aston Villa, so 8 o'clock tomorrow night for the Aston Villa Bournemouth game, otherwise 12:30 on Saturday. The following 2 rounds, there is a round on the Boxing Day weekend, which is from Tuesday, includes games on Wednesday and Thursday, while the New Year, there is a round on New Year's Day as well. So that's from Saturday the 30th, Sunday, Monday and Tuesday. Guys, you will be notified, but get studying. Gav, big game tonight. Stevie B, sorry, apologies, Steve, you're still going strong.
Still going strong, yeah, just about.
Yeah, well, you have a good run, Steve. Last competition, you were going well. This one, you're going well too. Steve, the midweek, Fulham, great result to get to the semis.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's the result. And I have to say, I was expecting when Bobby Decordova-Reid missed and Onana came up to hit the winning penalty. I was almost ready to turn the TV off. I couldn't believe it. You know, one of the worst penalties
it wasn't bad.
I've seen in a while. So look, you know, it's great. It's obviously tempered by last night's draw. The one that we probably wanted to avoid was Liverpool, but you're in the semi-final. It's 2 legs, so we're going to have to play very well to get through.
Yeah, Chelsea also went to penalties. I watched that. I still can't believe how they're playing. They're 1-0 down. They're passing the ball backwards. I don't think he's doing a good job there. But anyway, they sneak through. And poor Kieran Trippier was outstanding for Newcastle. He cost them goals against Everton. He cost them goals the following game. He sold the jerseys with the equaliser and he missed a penalty. So, shame. Gavin, did you watch Port Vale Middlesbrough? Donovan Chislett, a mate of ours, his son Ethan played.
Local boy. He played all right. I mean, it's a nice to get exposure for a South African boy out there.
Yeah.
But they just didn't have the class to go with Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough were quite comfortable in the result, but it was good to see a local boy play.
I watched a bit of it. He scored a hat-trick on Saturday, Ethan. So I was hoping they'd do well, but outclassed. And Liverpool 5, West Ham 1. I'm so disappointed. I watched the first half and there was not a hope in hell, Steve, that West Ham were going to cause an upset.
No, it's very disappointing. He didn't, he didn't play his strongest team. No idea why, because you'd think that, West Ham, generally do okay in cup competitions. But, as I say, for the thousands of West Ham fans that travelled, they must have been pretty fed up with that performance. And the way that, say, Curtis Jones walked through the defence, it's like they just they weren't interested at that point. They completely just gave up.
Yeah. I think after the game went 2-0, I think the writing was on the wall that they were going to lose, and the players just surrendered. And you can't do that at Liverpool because they will punish you. Geez. Many teams have tried that and they've just failed, and it looks hopelessly outclassed. It was a different division they were playing last night.
Yeah. I've said it before, I just can't stand it. Managers rotate, especially the quarterfinal of the Cup. It's a big game. Fans travel a long way, pay a lot of money. And, if they could, they should refund the fans their money, Steve, their entrance. That's what I would say. Anyway, for the guys at semi-final draw, Middlesbrough, Chelsea and Liverpool, Fulham. Good luck, Steve. There'll be millions of Man United fans with you. Anyway, on to the Premiership, which starts tonight in the M23 derby. Crystal Palace versus Brighton. Steve, which way do you see it going?
Yeah, no love lost there. Brighton have, for me, in the Premier League, obviously they've come off the rails. They're having a great run in Europe. They won the group and have gone through into the next round, the knockout stage. But in the Premier League, they really seem to be stuttering. I know they've had a few injuries, but I think Palace, could take heart from the way that they fought back at Man City after being completely outplayed for a lot of the game. And I think they're going to come into this game, for me, I think slight favourites. I just think that they know what this is a big game, and I just think Brighton. Just if you look at the recent form, the last 10 games, they've really stuttered. When at one point you thought this is a top 4 side, but they're way off it at the moment.
Yeah, Gav, how do you see it?
I think this game has got a draw written all over it. I think Palace always hard to beat. It was difficult to beat. They got a great result for them the other day. I know they cost me a few rand. Getting a draw from 2-0 down. So I think they're okay at home, Palace. But a Brighton team that is hard to break down. They are a good side. They are going through a patch. So for me, this is a draw written all over this game.
Yeah, I think of all the stats, you have a look. 7.5 to 10, both teams to score. Brighton have scored and conceded, I think, in their last 17 or 18 games. So, the goals is definitely, I know it'll be a tight game, but I'm going to be chancing it'll be another goal. I'm going over 2.5 goals, both teams to score, yes, at 12 to 10. Steve, Aston Villa, Sheffield United. 15 wins in a row. Is this number 16? That's home league games.
You would think so, but and it's hard to see where there's going to be an upset. Sheffield United were 1 point away from home, but you just never know, do you? I mean, this is such an odds-on banker that Villa can't afford to be complacent. I mean, they're having a fantastic run at the moment. I'd expect them to carry it on, but I find it hard to find anything in that sort of Sheffield United's recent form, other than they're showing a bit of fight under Chris Wilder, and they'll certainly give it a go. But you fancy Aston Villa to notch up another home win and keep the pressure on the teams above them.
Gav, how many will Villa win by?
I think on form, this is like a 3-0, 3-1 type game. I think Sheffield United will come out fighting, they'll chase everything. The manager is one of those that will push you all the way, doesn't take any complacency in his team. But Villa, I think they can start dreaming at the moment, I think, as to where they are. But I think just they haven't got the legs for the whole season.
Yeah.
It's something new to them. The pressure will come on them just now. But yeah, this looks like easy 3 points for them.
Yeah, no doubt. Got to fancy them. There's only one. My only concern is I watched the Brentford second half, and I don't think they would have beaten Brentford but for the red card. And they got lucky with both goals. But at home, Villa Park, 15 home league wins in a row. Don't see Sheffield United stopping that. Saturday lunchtime, Steve, West Ham, Man United. After West Ham's woeful performance, you know they're going to improve. 15-10 is not a bad price.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't done badly against United in recent seasons at the London Stadium. And, but United, maybe they'll be thinking that they got a fighting draw somehow at Anfield last weekend. Maybe they'll go there and, Phil, but you just wonder what's going on behind the scenes at United. You just keep hearing so many stories about unrest, player unrest, and you just wonder who he's going to pick. I would expect David Moyes is going to expect some sort of response to that performance. I think this will be a close game. There'll be goals. There normally are in this fixture.
Yeah.
I think it's a tough one. I would be surprised if it's a draw.
Yeah, 26-10, good value, Gav.
Yeah, I think Man United we all know they're in trouble. They've got like about 7 or 8 players that are out injured. There's about 7 or 8 of them that can leave. They don't make any contribution to the team at the moment. So there's always pressure on Man United. West Ham, after their performance last night, they have to really jack up their game if they want to get the fans back on their side after that woeful display. So, like Steve says, this game could be quite close to a draw. I think United are battling for goals themselves, so they're not going to go there and try and win the game. Then it'll definitely be a draw. Yeah,
I think this is 2-2. I think the goals in this game, lunchtime kickoff, and let's have West Ham were woeful last night, conceding 5 against Fulham. Something's not right at the back. Beforehand, they were well organised. I think the loss of Dawson has been poor, and I think United have got half a chance to cause an upset here. Steve, Fulham, surely you've got to beat Burnley at home.
Well, this is one that we were looking at recently, thinking, of the games that we do need to win. It was against the Forest, which we did, and Burnley, another team below us. We have a pretty good record this season and last against teams below us. And I think that we're going to look at this and think this is 3 points that we need. Burnley can't afford to lose. Yeah. I mean, they're in trouble, but a win for us, keeps us in that around that, just hovering around the top 10. Which I think if we can play, well, it probably took a bit out of them on emotionally as well as physically on Tuesday night. But I think the team will be up for it after winning. I think that we should win. I think there will be goals. We do. I think we seem to be capable of scoring goals at the moment, even without Jimenez. But I like fancy something like about 3-1, 3-0.
Gav?
Yeah, when the season started, I thought Burnley would be the team that would get relegated. I think they're really going to struggle. If you look at the form book, Fulham won 4, lost 1, and you go to Burnley, drew 1, lost 4.
Yeah.
So you would think that Fulham should have this game in the bag, and I don't fancy Burnley at all. I think Fulham at 7-10 could be a good value bet.
Yeah, me too. Fulham to win, both teams to score. They are capable. I think it was 5-2. Gav, the team that they lost at home to, 4 wins and a loss. They lost to? Man United, and should never have lost it either. 7-10 Fulham in all your bets. Luton, Newcastle, Steve, is this the upset of the round?
I don't know. I mean, obviously Newcastle have got 1 or 2 players back from injury. They'll probably be pretty disappointed with the result midweek. But I just fancy Newcastle just be a little bit too strong for Luton. You just wonder what's been happening in the camp at Luton, obviously after the incident with Tom Lockyer having a cardiac arrest, so that's probably sort of put a bit of damper on things for them for a few days. But they put up 2 very creditable performances, Luton, but I just think Newcastle getting players back from injury, I just fancy them just to edge that.
Yeah, I think Luton are very competitive up to the 60-minute mark, and then their legs seem to go and the space seems to open up, and Newcastle's high tempo game, I think Newcastle will wear them down and should score late in the game, but I think they'll win by maybe 2-0.
Yeah, I fancy Luton to score a couple here. That Newcastle team, I felt for them the other night, but those players are running on empty. And if it doesn't go too early, Newcastle like when teams attack, they hit them on the break. This team's well organised in a tight pitch. I don't know, as much as I think Newcastle should win, it wouldn't surprise me, if Luton do get a point. On to our second page, and this is going to be a crucial match for the weekend. Steve Cooper got fired at Notts Forest. Steve, on the results, it was obvious he was going to get fired, especially with that Greek owner. I'm sure the fans weren't happy. Nuno coming in, Espirito Santo, once of Wolves, then of Spurs. Bournemouth will be licking their lips, surely, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, this is look. The fact, as you say, the fans aren't happy. I don't think it's strange, isn't it? They had their, getting promoted after the first time in 20 odd years, but they don't love the owner, and I think that they're worried that he just interferes maybe a little bit too much with what goes on. Evidently he bought most of those players. Just kept buying players and foisting them on Steve Cooper, who just got on with it. I don't think Nuno is going to be the most popular of appointments there either. It all happened very quickly, so I think Bournemouth will look at that and think, look, they could, they're playing really well. Iriota's got seems to have stamped his style of play on them, and I think they'll go there as favourites.
So you fancy Bournemouth, Gav?
Yeah, the form book is telling me 1-1, lost 3 for Notts Forest, and Bournemouth has 1-3, lost 1 as well. So the form book is quite even. Notts Forest will give it its all. I don't think the coach wants to lose the opening match.
Yeah.
So I think maybe he should be sit back a little bit and take a draw in this game. Bournemouth, look, they are the form team. They are playing well, but they are travelling to Forest. I think the crowd will try and get behind the team and try and get this result, but I'm leaning towards a draw in this game.
Yeah, I like Bournemouth of the two teams. They've only lost the game that they did lose was against Man City at the Etihad. Against United, they played really well. They conceded the last game, because that was a game I watched, was the Bournemouth-Luton game, and they conceded early, but they were going to win that game 3-4-1 at the end. They really impressed me. Just worry about the back if they 100% secure. And we know Forest at home, but I don't know if the crowd are going to get behind this manager too early. So if ever there's a chance for Bournemouth to continue their decent away run, this could be it. But I agree with Gavin, the draw is the likeliest outcome. Steve, I think Tottenham are going to destroy Everton. Do you agree?
I don't know about destroy, but I certainly think that they're favourites to win.
Yeah.
I think they've sort of maybe got over that sort of that bad run they had, and a couple of good wins, and I think that they should be too strong for them. Look, Everton are going to be disappointed after the result the other night, but they're making themselves hard to beat. Having sort of won 4 league games in a row. Yeah. But I think Tottenham are going to be looking at this, thinking, look, we need to continue this mini revival, as it were. Yeah. And I think Tottenham I think there'll be goals, but I think Tottenham will edge it.
Gav?
Spurs went through a bad patch, but they picked up like 1 win in like about 5 games. I think that's their blip in the season. If you add the points to them in the table, then she'll be taking them up to second or maybe even top of the log. And the same thing for Everton, docking them 10 points and then coming back to win 4 in a row and getting their game back in again. Tough game, the form team, Everton really playing well, but Spurs, tough place to go to, and I think they've turned the corner, Spurs. I think they'll win this game quite comfortably. Yeah.
No, so they were 18-10 to win by more than 1. I just think that the speed that they've got, Everton, a bit of a panel beating team, and they play against teams that work hard and they outwork them. They'll give Spurs a game. Spurs high line, it does lead to goals, but I just think Son and Charlison and those guys are coming back into it, and at the stadium, I just think Spurs will be too good. Steve, the big game of the weekend, Liverpool-Arsenal. How do you see it?
Yeah, I think this will be a cracking game. I don't think Arsenal are going to be falling apart as we've seen West Ham last night. I think there'll be goals. I could see. Remember, was it last season there was a great game, 2-2. I could see something like that, but I've just got a feeling that Arsenal are going to have to tighten up at the back, because if you look at the goals that they conceded against Luton, and I think that Liverpool are going to put them under a lot of pressure from the start. I could see if there was to be a winner, I think I think Liverpool could edge it, and it could be something like sort of a 5-goal thriller. But I think for the neutral, I think this is going to be a really good game.
Gavin,
great game of the weekend. Should be a game. We're all hoping it'll be the game of the month. Liverpool very good at home, but they're scoring goals. You can't fault them on their form at the moment. So I know they had a blip against United's third side. Got to put it out there. But Liverpool strike force, they always look like they're going to score goals. And I think Arsenal are going to come there and play a little bit of a defensive game. I think Liverpool are going to beat them at least by 2 goals.
You fancy Liverpool. My only concern for Arsenal is they've been playing this. Declan Rice is a holding midfield player, and Havertz and the Norwegian captain Odegaard. If they're going to go with those 3 in the middle of the park, they'll be creative, but once they lose the ball, they're going to be in trouble, which will play into Liverpool's hands. From what we see of Arsenal, they like to play out from the back. And if they're going to do that at Anfield, I think they're going to be in serious trouble. So I can see why the bookies have got Liverpool short. But if Arsenal can play past that press, that Liverpool backfall is woeful. Martinelli last season carved Trent Alexander apart. And with Shimikas at left back, he's going to get torn by Saka. This has got goals, as I say, Steve. I'm hoping for Arsenal. Even though I have backed Liverpool to win the league. But, I just want somebody to really give Man City a go. I know De Bruyne is back in training, and when that happens, it's going to happen to Man City. But either result, it wouldn't surprise me. I just hope the referee and VAR doesn't interfere and we get a cracker of a game. But definitely goals on the agenda. Sunday, 1 o'clock UK time, 3 o'clock our time. Wolves-Chelsea, Steve. This should be a good game.
Yeah, I think so. Wolves have been a little disappointing recently. They lost, fairly convincingly at West Ham.
Yeah.
You look at how before that West Ham have conceded sort of 5 the week before and the week after. I've got a feeling Chelsea might just go up there and get a result. I just think they've got Christopher Nkunku sort of made his first cameo appearance after injury. They're getting 1 or 2 players back. You're still not quite sure, or Pochettino probably still doesn't know what his best 11 is. But I just think if they start clicking on the pitch, I just fancy them to be a little bit too strong for Wolves.
Yeah.
The Wolves can stop this silly goals, I call them. They are giving them away early in the game. Chelsea could be in trouble. I think Chelsea back four got to be one of the worst back four. Those defenders, I don't know what they're doing half the time. They don't like that. There seems to be no communication between the goalkeeper and Thiago and the guys. They look so slow, so unorganised. If the Wolves can put a press on them, I'm sure that the mistakes will come from them. I'm liking Wolves in this game because Chelsea are just so poor at the back. But it wouldn't surprise me if this game ends in a draw as well.
Yeah, I took 18-10 Wolves to score over 1.5 goals. Both teams to score, I saw 7-2, so worth a bet. But I agree, Nkunku is the key for Chelsea. But Steve, having watched them the last couple of weeks, they are so disorganised, it's frightening. Even when they were losing 1-0 against Newcastle, it was like 10 minutes to go. I'd back both teams to score, and they'd get in the last third and pass it straight back. So I don't know if he's in charge, Pochettino, or if Thiago Silva's running the team, or what's going on. But Wolves beat Man City and Spurs at Molineux, so it wouldn't surprise me if they cause an upset. But any result's possible for me in this particular game. On to the Championship, and Friday there are 2 games. First game up, Bristol City, Hull City. Steve, how do you see it?
Yeah, it should be a decent game. Hull have been playing well recently. They had a good result the other day. I Bristol were again had a good result themselves, sort of beating Sunderland. I think there'll be goals in this game. I think I can't see Hull winning at Bristol somehow, but I think it'll be a close game.
Yeah, Bristol only lost 1 of the last 4, and that was to Norwich. So you got to fancy. But goals, Steve, 8.5-10, both teams to score. Just 11-10 over 2.5. So I think there'll be goals in that particular game. Steve, my boys Preston were woeful the other day, destroyed by Watford. Can we rebound against Swansea?
I think that'll be tough. I think, by all accounts, Swansea played very well against Barrow and were a little bit unfortunate to lose. I've just got a feeling they could be a little bit too strong for your boys. It depends how they bounce back, but it sounded like it was complete capitulation in the second half after playing well in the first. So I'm afraid it's Swansea for me.
Yeah, only thing in our favour. Swansea haven't won at home in 6. But speaking to my good mate of mine, Debbie, who's Mark Lawrence's sister, she goes everywhere, and the fans aren't happy. The football we're playing is so negative, it's frightening. So got to fancy Swansea, but I'm hoping my boys can sneak a point. Big game, Leeds, Ipswich, Saturday lunchtime. Which way do you see it going, Steve?
Well, Leeds were the only team that have gone and won at Ipswich in a 7-goal thriller earlier in the season. I think that they got held last week, which is a little bit surprising. But this is to be a great atmosphere, full house. Lunchtime kickoffs are not always the best to watch, but I just think that Ipswich have been fantastic. I mean, there's no question this season. Nobody expected them to be where they are. I just got a feeling Leeds, with the fans behind them, might just be a little bit too strong for them.
Yeah, I've got to agree. I watched the Ipswich-Norwich game. What a good game. They were all over them. Ipswich could have scored 5 or 6. Leeds, they throttled Leicester City on that Friday night when they won 1-0. Last week was a bad result, but this should be a cracker. Was it 4-3 the earlier game?
Yeah.
So let's hope for another game. So this should be, but definitely goals. It was like 6-10 over 2.5 goals. But if you want a chance, Leeds 8-10 is not a bad price. Steve, Watford are improving 2-1. Watford at an inconsistent Blackburn Rovers. Worth an interest?
Yeah, I think so. I think if they can reproduce some of the form they showed in the second half.
Yeah.
Blackburn, again, it's win or lose with them, and you can take your pick which one it's going to be. But I fancy Watford. I think they've got a good opportunity there to win that.
Yeah, dark horses to sneak into a playoff place. On to our second page, you had league leaders Leicester against a struggling Rotherham. Surely this has got to be a home win.
Yeah, you would think so. I know Leicester have not been been playing quite as well as they started at the beginning of the season. They had a good win the other day at Birmingham.
Yeah.
Against Wayne Rooney's side, but I've just got a feeling that again, I think against Rotherham, who become the sort of whipping boys away from home, I think Leicester should win comfortably. Yeah,
2 points from the 11 away league games, Rotherham. So you've got to fancy Leicester. But somehow I don't think this is going to be a 4-5-0 game, Steve. I think they'll get ahead and just keep the ball and save their players for Boxing Day and Christmas. Middlesbrough, West Brom. West Brom let us down last week, drawing at home. Well, let me down, drawing at home with Stoke. Middlesbrough, a great game in the Cup. Which way you see it going, though, Steve?
Yeah, I was slightly surprised. I thought West Brom, but Stoke have just sort of picked up just a teeny bit. I still like West Brom. I just think they're sort of lurking. Middlesbrough, came back last week, but after a run of 3 defeats, I fancy West Brom. I think Middlesbrough. I wonder whether they've start dreaming of cup glory, and I just think West Brom might go there and get a result.
Yeah, I've got to agree. West Brom win and draw the two sides. Norwich City, Steve, I was really impressed with them last week against Ipswich. I think 6-10 is a gift at home against Huddersfield.
Yeah, I think they've just overcome that sort of bad patch they had, and they just started to play. And I think they'll start climbing up the table now. And I think they should. Huddersfield, to be fair to them, sort of pitch points where you don't expect it, but I think Norwich will be too strong.
Okay, Plymouth against Birmingham City. Which way do you see it going?
Yeah, well, Plymouth at home, are fairly decent, and against a Wayne Rooney side, you're just not sure what you're going to get. They showed a bit of fight against Leicester, but they had a win recently at sort of Cardiff. But I think of the two, I still fancy Plymouth at home. Yeah,
I just like what I've seen at Birmingham of late, Steve. He's slowly starting to turn it, and he knows if he doesn't get a few results over Christmas, they got no chance of playoffs. I think they can sneak a result here, Steve. I think 21-10 is not the worst of prices. Plymouth, at home, good home record, but they're conceding too many goals to my liking. So I'm looking for the upset. On to our final page in the championship. QPR Southampton, Steve. Southampton going great.
Yeah, I think QPR have certainly picked up form a bit, although they'd be disappointed sort of having taken the lead, losing at Sheffield Wednesday.
Yes.
But Southampton are on a real run, scoring goals, avoiding defeat. I think that Southampton will be too strong. I think there'll be goals. It'll be an entertaining game, but I fancy Southampton. Yeah,
I've got to agree with you. Now, Sheffield Wednesday under the new manager, they've come well. Can they continue their run at home against Cardiff?
I think they can. Cardiff are just sort of, you're not sure what you're going to get with them. So they've gone off the boil a little bit. But Sheffield Wednesday, it was a good win to come from behind. Earlier in the season, they probably wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
But I just think that, again, with a big crowd there, quite vocal at Hillsborough, I think they might just sneak a result.
Yeah, I think think I like a few goals as well in that particular game. Stoke City, who I can never catch. Who's the new manager? See, they fired Alex Neil. Have they?
It's a good question.
Yeah,
I'm not sure if I think they've got an interim one at the moment.
Yes, they have.
They've
Yeah.
appointed a full-time manager. Yeah.
Okay. How do you think they'll go at home against Millwall?
Again, with Millwall, very disappointing season. Haven't won many at all in the last sort of 10, 12 games. I think Stoke will be a little bit too strong for them. They'll probably be pleased with the result they got last week, Stoke. And I think at home, I think they might have edged that, but it could be a sort of a 1-0, 2-1 game.
Yeah, I've never caught Stoke this season, so it's hard for me to invest again. They haven't won in 8, but there again, Millwall have only won 1 in 12, so 5-2 the draw if you have a look at the analysis, but I wouldn't put you off back in Stoke. And last but not least, Steve, I think this will be a good game, Sunderland hosting Coventry City.
Yes, I mean, Coventry have just shown a little bit of fight. That was a really good result at Leeds.
Yes.
Sunderland are going to want to bounce back from their defeat at Bristol, but at home, Sunderland are quite strong, and I think of the two, if there was to be a positive result, I think I'd go with the home side.
Yeah.
Best bet of the weekend, Steve, Sunderland.
Sunderland, another team at championship form, you never know. Steve, talking of best bets, I need your best bet and value bet, please.
Yeah, tricky one this week. I'm going to go for Chelsea. I've just got this feeling that they're going to go to Wolves and get a result. And
okay.
I was toying between that and Swansea. I couldn't decide. But I don't like to put the boot into Preston.
No, it's money for the punches, Steve.
My value, I'm going to go for West Brom.
I thought you would. Yeah.
I know they slipped up at home, but they dominated, and I think they'll be a little bit too strong for Barrow.
All right, Steve. Thanks as always. Last one standing. I know who you won. Good luck, and we'll speak over the weekend.
90 other people.
Yeah.
I say me and 90 other people if they've not been used, I should think. So.
Yeah, you never know, Steve. There's a few on other sides, so I'll let you know a bit later. Steve, thanks as always. Take care.
Cheers. Bye, Gav.
Yeah.
Cheers.
All right, on to the PSL, and the Friday game between Sekhukhune and Stellenbosch was postponed because Sekhukhune unfortunately lost in the CAF Confederations last night. The betting we got up, the first game, AmaZulu Cape Town Spurs, Gab, apologies.
Yes,
surely Lesotho got to win this.
AmaZulu should be the best bet of the weekend. We're playing a team that's won one game, and I think 13, and they've lost 12 or whatever it is. It's just ridiculous the way their form is going. AmaZulu at home should be far too strong. I think AmaZulu win comfortably.
Do you know they've won one of the 14 games? Do you know they beat? And I watched it. They beat Pirates, and I was on Pirates. Couldn't believe it. But I got a fancy AmaZulu. It's at Moses Mabhida, so I got a fancy Lesotho to get a result. Chippa Polokwane. This will be a tight game, Gav. Which way do you see it?
This game's got draw written all over it. Two teams battling for goals.
Yeah.
They form 1-2, drew 2 for Chippa, and Polokwane 1-1, drew 2, lost 1.
Yep.
So they're also a little bit out of form. So for me, under 2.5 goals, the draw.
Yeah, it was 5-10 when I saw that, so I'll expect a bit bigger. Next game should be a good game. Golden Arrows against TS Galaxy.
Yeah, my second best bet, Golden Arrows. I think they've got some good home form. I think they'll be too good for TS Galaxy, who are lacking a bit of form. The last 5 games away from home, they've lost them all. Golden Arrows waiting for them in Durban. I'm just worried about the weather at the moment because we're having so much rain, so it doesn't become a stop-start game in the mud. But Golden Arrows should be good things. Yeah,
I'd rather go over 2.5 goals. It was a 12-10 when I did see it, but it was only on one side. Remember, TS Galaxy got beaten in the cup final last week against Stellenbosch, so you don't know how that's going to play. But Golden Arrows, every time I watch them, there's goals. So if ever there's a game this weekend, should be goals in it. Golden Arrows against TS Galaxy. Royal AM in Maritzburg against Swallows. Which way do you see it?
They're having a different season this year. And last year they got promoted. They were fighting for everything.
Yeah.
Maybe lost 1 or 2 players or got a few injuries, but they're a little bit off the form. I think Swallows will get away one year. Swallows for me. Yeah,
hard to trust Swallows. Yeah, Royal AM, they were playing at Chatsworth last season, so they were hard to beat there. But for me, if ever there's a 0-0 game, that's the game there. I think 5-6 to 1 0-0. So that would be my suggestion. Royal AM versus Swallows. On to our final page. Kaizer Chiefs. 3 of the last 4, bit short.
If they don't win this game, then I can see the Lesotho fans going really crazy. I mean, they've won 2, lost 2 of their last 4 games. Richards have won 1, drew 1, lost 2.
Yeah.
The form book is telling you Chiefs all over 5-10. I would probably go both teams to score, but Chiefs to win the game.
Yeah, I got to fancy Amakosi to get a result. Supersport United, who won 2-1 last night in the CAF Confederations Cup against the Orlando Pirates team. I've been impressed watching them lately.
The Pirates for me, good side. I think they will win this game. Supersport played, like you say, last night. Got a result, but there just seems to be lacking a bit of class in their team. The service to the front guys up front, they just don't get it. For me, Pirates will wear them down and win this game.
Yeah, 17-10, decent price. Surely 9-10 Sundowns. Against, I know, difficult. Eric Tinkler's always got Cape Town City well organised and they give them a game, but Sundowns
they can bring all the top managers and blend them into one. They can't beat Sundowns. Sundowns just unbelievable form line that they have. They can go anywhere in Africa and they'll win. 9-10 looks like an absolute steal, but you know the bubble always bursts down along the way.
Yeah.
But definitely Sundowns for me.
11 league games, 11 victories, 8 of them away from home, and they beat Pyramids of Egypt in midweek. So class team. I know the CAF is their main objective, the CAF Champions League. Always got Al Ahly to beat, but Cape Town, they've had a nice break too.
Yeah, they're about 4 games behind, and I think they're about 5 points clear in the league already. So you put all the points together.
I think it's 1-10 them to win the league.
I heard some of the supporters saying they should rather just give them the trophy and then give them another trophy for second place.
No, it's true.
They're just so good.
Yeah, 9-10 looks a decent price. On to our weekend exotics. And we kick off with our score 6, our KZN score 6. And the first game up, I'm going West Ham United, win and draw at home against Man United. I've thrown the draw in with Leeds United at home against Ipswich. I'm chancing Newcastle United to beat Luton Town. I've thrown the draw in with Spurs at home against Luton. West Brom I don't see losing against Middlesbrough, and I'm siding with Jurgen Klopp's team to avoid defeat against Arsenal, 192. On to our second soccer 6. I'm going Chipper United, win and draw against Polokwane. Banking Kaizer Chiefs to beat Richards Bay. Swallows win and draw at Royal AM. Golden Arrows win and draw at home against TS Galaxy. Blackburn Rovers win and draw at home against Orlando Pirates. And I've thrown the draw in with Orlando Pirates against Supersport United, 192. On to our score 10 for the weekend. I've gone the field in the West Ham Man United game. Banked Leeds to beat Ipswich Town. Fulham to beat Burnley. Newcastle United to beat Luton Town. Bournemouth to avoid defeat at Nottingham Forest. Our second page, I've got Tottenham win and draw against Everton. Leicester City should be too good for Rotherham United. The field in the Middlesbrough West Brom clash. Sunderland win and draw at home against Coventry City, and Liverpool to avoid defeat against Arsenal, 288. On to the soccer 13, I'm going Liverpool win and draw against Arsenal, bankering Tottenham to beat Everton, Newcastle to beat Luton, Fulham to beat Burnley. Bournemouth to avoid defeat at Nottingham Forest. Blackburn Rovers win and draw at home against West Brom. I don't see West Brom losing at Middlesbrough. On to the second page, I'm banking Norwich City to beat Huddersfield Town, chancing Birmingham City to win at Plymouth Argyle, and Southampton to be too good away at Queen's Park Rangers. Sheffield Wednesday win and draw against Cardiff City. Stoke City to avoid defeat at home against Millwall, and Sunderland win and draw against Coventry City, 256. On to our budgies bets for the weekend, and our first bet is over 2.5 goals, both teams to score in the Fulham Burnley, Tottenham Everton, Liverpool Arsenal, and Wolves Chelsea games, 3,200 to 200. My team goals only, I'm going for Man United, Fulham, Tottenham and Wolves, all to score over 1.5 goals, 3,200 to 200. On to the championship, I'm going Birmingham City to upset Plymouth Argyle, Norwich City to beat Huddersfield Town, and over 2.5 goals in the Blackburn Watford and Sunderland Coventry City fixtures, 3,000 to 200. My both teams to score sides are Middlesbrough West Brom, QPR Southampton, Sheffield Wednesday Cardiff, and Sunderland Coventry City, 2,000 to 200. There's no Spain, so we're chancing Italy, where I'm going Lazio to beat Empoli on Friday, and both teams to score in the AC Monza Fiorentina, Bologna Atalanta, and Torino Udinese matches, 2,500 to 200. Now, Collis King, 6 on X, so I'm going Fulham to beat Burnley, Tottenham to beat Everton, Norwich to beat Huddersfield, Bolton Wanderers to beat Leyton Orient, Portsmouth to beat Fleetwood Town, and Inter Milan to beat Lecce, 2,700 to 200. Gav, You've never been shy for a bet?
Both my bets this weekend, Newcastle, Spurs, Norwich City and Sunderland. And then locally, I think Amazulu, Golden Arrows and Mamelodi Sundowns are the local treble.
Yeah, I had to have one.
Nice 14-1 treble or double.
Yeah.
You can get it.
Yeah, I'm going for Spurs at 8-10 and Birmingham at 22-10. That's my 2 bets for the weekend. To everybody out there, have a great Christmas period and just remember to stay on side.